Did we put it up here last time or down here? Hello. Is that okay, you think?
I just get nervous. What, can you push it back more or no?
Yeah.
I don't want it to fall off the thing.
Hi, guys. As always, just let me know that you can hear me. You can put it in the chat, text me, or even put it on the WhatsApp group. Then if you want, you can go ahead and get some soothing sounds. Hey, Patty, thanks. Hey, we're gonna wait probably like 30 more seconds. If you have a bolster at home, which I know probably not a lot of people do. So a bolster is like the pillow thing. If you have like a firm bed pillow or any kind of pillow, you might want to go grab it. It's not absolutely required. It's just I might offer it up for some of the shapes. So any kind of firm pillow-like thing would work. Even a blanket would work. So whatever you have in regards to that is okay. I'm so excited to teach Yin. I hope you guys are ready. And Andy taught a class with wine the other night. So if you want to grab a glass of wine, that's also okay. And it looks like we got a bunch of people here. So let's go ahead and stand up to begin our practice. We're going to kind of stand towards the back so you can still see most of us. And take your feet about a comfortable distance apart, so about hip distance. And allow your eyes to close. The Buddha has been quoted as saying, in order to cultivate the mind, we have to start by cultivating the body. And one of the keys to liberating the mind, to liberation and freedom, is to explore sensations within the framework of your own body. So standing here with the feet about hip distance apart, with your eyes closed, just bring the awareness down towards the feet. Become aware of the natural sway of the body without you even trying to sway. There may be a natural, subtle rocking from the heels to the toes, from outer edge to inner edge. Just come in contact with the sensations of movement here. And then purposely, just still with the eyes closed, put a little bit more of the weight into the right foot and just feel the pressure into the ground, into your yoga mat. Come back to both feet, spreading the toes. With both feet, sending energy down into the ground. You can even imagine a light shining through the feet all the way down to the earth's core. Receiving that energy from the center of the earth all the way back up through your feet. Come in contact with the sensations of breathing. Placing the attention on the ribs and chest. If your eyes are still closed, allow them to blink open, nice and easy. First shape is dangling pose. So start to maybe widen the feet just a little bit. Bend your knees and start to allow your upper body to hang over your legs. So from the side, you're just in a standing forward fold. You can use the fingertips and hands to help you get grounded and support you. Eventually, you might even catch opposite elbows and just allow the weight of the arms to help create some length through the lower part of your spine and your back. And with all of these shapes that we do this afternoon, evening, it's a great practice actually as we transition from that afternoon time of day towards the evening time. Allowing it to bring you into that space, just a little bit more introverted, more calm. For all these shapes, feel whatever it is that you're feeling. So already an intense stretch through the backs of the hamstrings, all the way up through the bum and the hips. An intensity as the lower part of your spine starts to open. Try to soften this area right at the top of the hips, kind of where your lower back meets your bum. Try to relax into that area and soften it and feel it lengthen. And still that sway of the body is there. Just nice and easy. And just go for a little bit more softening there through the upper body. Feel the center of the body, size of the waist, hips. And melt into that elasticity there. As you allow your breath to be shallow or deep, whatever it is, really let your intention this afternoon be about becoming more mindful of your body. And although that sounds very simple, from the Buddhist perspective, it's the way to liberation, to freeing your mind. Mindfulness directed at the body, whatever it is, any sensations. In this posture moment, just become aware of them. And then transitioning this posture, coming down to a seated position. right into butterfly pose. So with the feet together, a little bit maybe different than your traditional Baddha Konasana that we do in Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. Take the feet and move them and slide them further away from you. So it's a kind of wider butterfly. And the heels are farther away. And then from there, go ahead and find that hinging and rounding movement again. Now this shape, sometimes, we get so focused on what the legs are doing and how it perhaps feels in the hips, and I need to be feeling it in my hips. Really, you should be feeling this at the sacrum and your lower back, opening up that area. So allow the heels to really move further away and keep opening up to the lower part of your spine. And just notice the curvature and roundness of your back here. Let it round. Let your chin melt in towards your chest. Allowing the knees to be heavy, almost as if you had gentle sandbags on the knees, just kind of weighing them down towards the ground without you having to force, to push or to pull. Just surrender. Give the bones in your body over to gravity. Then most of you know when you start to really let go, you'll approach an edge. You may already have found it. This is just the place where you feel a challenge, a bit of tension, a blockage, physically or other. And once you hit that edge, time really becomes the magic. Because in a yin style, time is what allows the posture to really stimulate the tissues and the fascia. And from the energetic perspective, it's the edge that really stimulates the energy flow. Any blockages in the chi or meridian lines, we need that edge, that perhaps uncomfortable, difficult place, in order to stimulate and free this flow. It's a little bit longer. The last magic component is stillness for the mind. Helping to cultivate that quietness. And just take 10 more breaths and contemplate the breath. Don't try to change it. Control it. Allow it to come and go. Just 10 final breaths. And try to take your time here and slow Very slow motion. Use the hands to support you and rise all the way up. Good. And you can walk the hands back just a little bit. Bring the knees together, leaving the knees bent. Using the hands as support. You can just rock the feet from edge to edge so the knees will move and shins will move like windshield wipers. You can do that a couple times. Really try to move to the inner edge of the foot. Press into it. Get a little bit more stretch into your lower back. Just one more time either side. And you can continue that if you want to, or you can press up to upward table. So maybe the feet have to walk in a little bit more and lift the hips up. Just a little active counter rebound. Doesn't have to be too intense. All right, we've got another intense forward fold coming. So start to finish that up. Send both legs out this time for what we call caterpillar. Now, if you're a bit tight, you can sit up on a blanket. The other thing I would recommend is bending your knees, right? Bending your knees, I'll turn to the side so you can see. And then from there, you're just gonna start to walk the hands forward, right? And if the knees are bent, you could even take the arms underneath and kind of hug yourself there, or legs straight, hinging at the lower back and folding forward. Coming to that first edge, notice what you feel. Sometimes it's helpful to even close the eyes once you're in the shape. And then you can really start to get focused and specific on what you're feeling. And as you notice a sensation, where exactly is it? Is it in one very clear spot? Do you notice it's kind of diffused over a large area? Is it constant or perhaps pulsating? It kind of gets really strong and then subsides and then gets strong again. Is it sharp, dull, even a little bit achy? And just a good time to mention if you experience sharp pain, you'll want to start to back off from that kind of sensation. Dull or achy or a little bit uncomfortable is fine. That's perhaps an edge, that's perhaps a challenge area. Sharp pain, you can back off and find a variation. We've got just a little bit more time here. I invite you to walk the hands out perhaps a little further without trying to grab or pull. If some of you want a deeper variation, you would come up really, really slow and take something like plow pose called snail pose. So you can stay in that forward fold, or if you want something a bit more intense, you'll roll onto your back. Swing the toes overhead. Don't try to straighten your spine. Round your back and even bend your knees. We've got about 1 more minute to go. Coming back to the breath. Good. And then in your own time, there's no rush, we'll meet lying down on the back. So go ahead and lie all the way down. Just let all of that go. And then for the next posture, you're going to want to locate your pillow or your bolster. If you didn't grab that pillow at the beginning, just go and grab one right now. Then you're going to take the pillow to bolster underneath your sacrum. So bending your knees, you'll lift your hips up. And then come on down. So it becomes supported bridge pose. And then you can start to lengthen your legs out, straight legs. So the hips are elevated, and it's not underneath your lower back, it's underneath your sacrum. So it's a little bit lower. Find an easy place for your arms. And sometimes if you place the arms above the head or to the side, students experience that they start to fall asleep or a loss of sensation. If that's the case, readjust your arms in a different position. And once you're settled in this supported bridge, again, eyes can close. We'll be here for a little bit of time. Continue to scan the body very gently. The first step to this is trying to recognize any sensations that you encounter, recognize them. And the second step to that would be trying to name the sensation. This is a dull and achy sensation. This is a pleasurable opening of the hip. Great sensation throughout the entire body, floating, relaxed. Try to name the sensation after you recognize it. And then once you name it, the next stage is to just accept and allow the sensation. You don't have to wish that it was different, push it away, exchange it for a different one. Just accept and allow whatever you're feeling to be there. Any sensation in the body. And once you've allowed it just to stay, you may even try investigating the sensation with a non-judgmental curiosity. Again, really starting to understand, is this in one place? Is it moving throughout the body? Is it coming into existence and going out of existence in different intensities? You really start to get specific and investigate what you're feeling. And as you go through your practice, just don't fall into the trap of thinking it should feel this or we should be feeling it in this part of the body. That's just simply a trap, everyone. Allow whatever you're feeling to be. Practice about observing what you feel and not what you think you should feel. Another sensation becomes strong or obvious, observe that one. You've got just a little bit more time here. Feel the support of the ground and ease into it. All right, very good job. You can start to slowly bend the knees, planting the feet again. There's no rush. And then with a little pressure down to the heels, you can remove that pillow, bolster, or blanket from underneath you. Softly bring knees into chest, hug the shins in. And you can rock side to side on the lower back. And then from there, you can roll off to the side and we'll come up to seated. Moving into another back bend. This one's going to be Sphinx on the belly. So once you're seated, go ahead and swing those legs behind you and we'll come down to lying face down on the belly. And then you can start to work your way up onto the elbows. So once you're on the elbows and the forearms here, you can reach and grab either elbow and hold on there. And then if you were to look down, the elbows are not going to be really, really close into the body. They're going to be a little bit further out past the shoulders, but not too far out unless you're really experiencing a lot of discomfort in your lower back. Then you can keep the hands like that, or you could separate them into the more traditional Sphinx style. Something, if you're struggling in this posture, a couple different ways you can use your bolster. You can grab it and put it underneath the armpits. So there's just a little bit more support for the body. If you want to feel a little bit more, but you're going to stay in Sphinx and not go to the next posture, you'll take the pillow or the bolster underneath your forearms and your elbows. So those are two ways to perhaps ease into the shape a little bit more or amp up the shape a little bit more. But traditionally, the elbows are just simply down. There's an easy place for the head. You'll notice there's really no right or wrong. If you really drop the head, you'll feel an intense stretch all the way through the upper part of the back and neck, which can be very, very helpful and useful. Right, if that's not comfortable, then keep the head pretty neutral. So there's no right or wrong here. There's no should or shouldn't. This posture, just like every other posture, is an investigation of sensations, using your body to help relax your mind. Just another minute or so. And you should be feeling a little bit of compression in the lower back. Again, if it's painful, you'll need to make those adjustments. Just compressing the lowest part of your spine. You may even find that more energy starts to move through the body. It's very subtle. Back bends tend to be Mother Nature's natural energizers. As you compress this part of the back, this actually is where the kidneys are. They get a little bit of compression as well. Kidneys house the adrenal glands. So as these kind of get compressed and massaged, it stimulates blood flow and energy to this area, to these organs, which increases our capacity for energy. So oftentimes you'll hear yoga teachers say back bends are very energizing. Just take 5 more breaths. And then if there is a pillow in the way, you'll have to move that out to the side. Coming down, now that the elbows go out to the side, make a pillow with your own arms this time. And turn your head to the right, so you're laying on your left ear and left cheek. And start to bring your right knee out to the side, almost like the number 7. So right knee is just going to slide off of the mat. Keep your right foot down on the ground. Sometimes I know this one can be a bit confusing, so you just take the right knee out to the side and the foot is down on the ground. And then you can slide that leg back. And then we're going to come back up to Sphinx. So you'll notice there's kind of a theme to this class. We go from forward fold to forward fold to forward fold, and then we are building now on our back bend. So when you're ready, come back up to the elbows. You want to grab a pillow again or bolster, it's totally fine. You can stay in your Sphinx if this is intense enough for you. If you want to progress now towards seal pose, you would take your hands out to the corners or edges of your mat and then start to push up from there. So with seal, the further away your hands are, the more you're going to have to work in your arms. So while it's definitely more compressive on your back, it's going to be easier to walk the hands in and hold the shape there with the hands closer in, okay? Again, this can be really, really intense on the back, so you got to pay attention to what you're feeling. Probably the most intense or advanced variation would be to direct your hands right underneath your shoulders and push down from there. And then if you really want, you can start to bend your knees and move your head towards your toes. That's if you're really not feeling anything. And then find that place, even though this one's a bit more intense, we won't stay as long as we did in Sphinx, but find a place where you can close your eyes for just a little bit of time. And sometimes with this energizing part of back bends, it can be a little bit emotional too. So just notice, along with the sensations, any emotions that you feel. They're very intimately connected. You could say the thoughts are in your head and the emotions are in your body. It's really true. When you have an emotion, it's embodied. You feel it. You don't think it. You feel it somewhere in your body. So go ahead and scan if there's any kind of emotion there. Just like sensation, there's always some emotion present. I think, unfortunately, in our society, we're sometimes ignoring our emotions, or perhaps we're taught to be that way. But this practice helps you get back in touch with that. Sensations and emotions are always present somewhere in the body. Just take a few more breaths, any variation that you're in. And you'll want to ease yourself out of this one. So walk those hands forward, calming down. And this time, as you make the pillow with the arms again, come to the right ear and open up your left knee out to the side. Then again, as always, the transition is slow. You'll take your time. If you need to stay a little longer, feel free. Otherwise, we'll come back to the center. Move the hands alongside you. Push up to your hands and knees. Maybe take an easy cow stretch, cat stretch. Move between the two. Side. Roll the ribs in a circle, just nice and easy there to release. And then we'll end up in a movement or two in child's pose. So child's pose is a real pose. It's not just a resting position. You can keep the knees close together or open the knees wide apart. Allow your head to rest, your arms to come out, or make a pillow with the forearms again. You'll want to just give yourself a little bit of time here. We're not going to rush out of this shape. It's a really important counter pose to that intense back bending. So you'll want to just allow your body to rest here. You don't have to force the hips down. They never have to touch your heels. And then coming out of your child's pose, we're going to lie down onto the back. So you can work your way up and out. Just lay down. Feet going. And once you're lying down, guys, plant the feet on the ground. Knees are going to be bent. And then separate the feet to the edges of your mat so they're kind of on the floor. So they're pretty wide. Good. And then if you were to take the arms alongside the body with the hands flat, you could just graze the heels. So they're that close in. Good. And then from there, just do that windshield wiper motion. They're going to go over to the right, and they're going to stay to the right. Now, this might be enough for you right here. You may already be feeling something. If you want something a little bit more intense, you'll try to reach for the left ankle with the left hand. Hold on to that. Some of you might want to take the right heel above the left thigh and cross that over. And you're not actively using that leg to draw your knee down, you're just using the gentle weight. More advanced would be to move the foot or heel further away from you. Again, you got to pay attention to your knee. So it's kind of like a variation. It's a twist, a variation of half saddle pose. You want to just keep relaxing and allow the softening sensation to move through the left thigh, like that quadriceps area, in front of the left hip. There's no need to force your way any deeper into the shape. And then slowly you can start to come out. Releasing the foot, come back to neutral. If the feet ended up back a little closer together, make sure they're out towards the floor, Heels are in, and then the legs are going to go the other way. And just keep exploring, recognize the sensation. Name any sensations. Accept and just allow that or those sensations to be. And then with non-judgmental curiosity, just investigate the sensations. Good, and then you can come back to the center here. Bring the knees up and in towards your chest and give yourself a squeeze and perhaps engage your belly and draw chin to chest. You can even lift your head off the ground. Make a tiny little ball, really squeeze tight there and hold that. And just try to squeeze a little bit deeper and deeper over the next 3 exhalations. Head a little closer to knees, eyes a little closer to belly. And then you can slowly release that, lengthen your legs out. Take the arms to an easy place as you close your eyes. Allowing your entire body now to neutralize. Very important shape, Shavasana. Just on this hard surface, yoga mat, on the floor. Allow your entire body after the deep folds and deep back bends. So allow your spine to be neutral now and rest. Let's take a nice deep breath in all together. And just let that go. Naturally, when you're ready to move, starting to wiggle the feet, toes, hands, and fingertips. And then eventually take a couple more of those stretches and find your way up to a seated position. And with the hands gently sealed right at heart center, we'll take another deep breath in together. Inhale. Use your exhale to bow forward and seal your practice. Inhaling, rising up. Exhale, gently let your eyes open. Namaste. Thank you guys for sticking around. I actually, during Shavasana, I pulled 2 cards for us, a tarot card and an oracle card. And if you have to go, you can go, but I'll just kind of share them now. And I'm glad I did, because I think they're really fun is not the right word, but really appropriate. Oh, I can't walk. Let me try to raise the screen here. So for those of you that you probably know, I read tarot, and the oracle card that I pulled is, look at this, fellow travelers. I know it's reversed, but it says support is all around you, fellow travelers. And I think it's so cool because there's 15, 16 of us here practicing all together. And even though we're separated physically, knowing that support is all around us. And I think that message needed to come through, just to remind that there are fellow travelers on this journey, and there are other people that feel perhaps some of the same things that you're feeling. And then the tarot card that I pulled is the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords always comes up when there's a little bit of a rocky journey, but the way ahead is smoothing out. And the 6 of Swords kind of journey is one that, in an unfortunate way, it could say that we've been put in this situation and it's a little bit out of our control, which I think is very ironic. A lot of us, we've all been put in a situation where perhaps things have gotten a little rocky, but knowing that there are kind of some smoother waters ahead. The other way I read this card personally for myself is that moving out of rocky waters to smoother waters, sometimes we're put on journeys or put in situations for specific reasons. And I think for myself, my life before we had to stay home was a little bit rocky. It was very, very busy. And there seemed to be like no end to that rockiness. And it's kind of nice that some of our transitions that sometimes are out of our control are actually for our benefit. And knowing that any kind of struggle, even in your yoga practice, always leads you to perhaps a stronger place, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All right. So that's your message. Thanks for staying around to hear it. Fellow travelers, we're all doing this together. I thank you guys for coming to these classes. It's a nice reason for me to put on yoga clothes and get like dressed up and not just stay in my pajamas all day. So it's kind of ironic. I get all dressed up to like come downstairs and teach a class, but it's good. Otherwise, we'd just be in our pajamas. So there's a bunch of classes this week. Andy and I are going to post our schedules. Okay, so this was Yin Yoga. We have a bunch of power yoga classes coming up, and then the next Yin Yoga is going to be Friday night with Andy. We drink wine on Friday nights, so Yin Yoga Friday night at 6:30, right, Andy? 6:30. And then there'll be a bunch of power yogas throughout the week at 9:30. Like I'm teaching Tuesday and Friday at 9:30. This week, I think Andy's doing tomorrow at 9:30, like a flow or a root or something, slow style. And then, so that's kind of the week ahead. But if you are ever in doubt, what we try to do is we put up the live classes ahead of time so they're on there, so you can see.
Set a reminder.
Yeah, we set the reminder ahead of time. So just follow the channel and you'll kind of get those reminders. Thank you guys for joining. Have a beautiful night. Sleep well, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.